We welcome you back to Las Vegas, Nevada. This is the 2025 World Series of Poker Main Event Final Table. We crown a champion today. Welcome in to the Horseshoe Event Center. Jeff Platt alongside Nick Wright and Brent Hanks. We will hear from Ali Najad and the Poker Hall of Famer Nick Schulman in the booth. I know we have a lot to get to, so let us start with this. A look at the leaderboard presented by PokerStars, and it does show Michael the Grinder Mizrachi with a massive chip lead over John Wasnock, Braxton Dunaway, and Kenny Hallaert are the short stacks. Nick, we will, of course, look ahead to today at some point. It's hard to do when we can't get over what happened yesterday. What a performance by the Grinder.
What a performance and what a disposition for a guy who for the last 10 days, from what I hear, not a lot of sleep, not a lot of early nights, playing for $10 million in immortality, and not just confident, but almost carefree, while also showing how much this means to him. It was as entertaining and as stunning of a final table performance as far as how quick it was we've seen in more than a decade.
Absolutely incredible. Brent, what stood out to you yesterday?
We got to go back to Leo Margette.
Okay.
I know a certain somebody out there on Twitter, X, made some rather awful comments, but this was and is a historical moment. You're talking about the best finish ever in the main event as far as the amount of money won, the field size, nearly 10,000 players. Let's not forget it. Let's continue to celebrate it and maybe ignore some of that stuff out there on social media.
That's fair. I'm going to ignore that as well. But we have Nick Wright here, so how could we not just bring up Patrick Mahomes? Walk us through the comparison that everybody is talking about. Mizrachi.
Well, it's a couple potential GOATs. Mahomes chasing Tom Brady, Mizrachi chasing whomever you choose as far as greatest World Series performers ever. And I want to focus on that best year part of it. In 2022, Patrick Mahomes had the football trifecta, if you will.
Yeah.
League MVP, Super Bowl MVP, record-setting season, most yards by anyone ever. Michael Mizrachi with a chance to win the two most prestigious bracelets at the same World Series when no one saw this coming, be the greatest single season in poker history.
It kind of makes me a little bit. I mean, Mahomes, you're going to bring Mahomes into this. Hey, can you toss me that real quick?
What is,
I mean, this is let's just go ahead. We're going to go off script. Jeff, grab him by
the, if you want to
hit the ankles. I got the arms. He's going through the table on behalf of the Bills Mafia.
There you go.
Can we do some hand analysis? He used to be good at poker.
So, I hear that. I've never seen evidence.
So let's take a look at a key hand from yesterday. Brent, it features Mizrachi raising pre with the Queen 10 and already decision time for Hallaert.
Yeah, small blind, King Jack suited. Standard call. We're in there. Dunaway obviously never going to fold from the big blind. He doesn't fold. And this is where the problem really starts to unfold now for Kenny Hallaert. Mizrachi, middle pair, 10, continue, 5.5 into nearly 20 million.
Nick, as you started to see this hand develop, this is so important because there are a bunch of other short stacks there, and it's Hallaert and Mizrachi going to war.
And it felt like Hallaert was one big pot against Mike away from basically making this a real tournament again. We thought maybe this could be the hand. It, of course, goes in a different direction.
This turn bet, by the way, Mizrachi doesn't have to have queens up. You know, Kenny just can't fold King Jack. It's way too good of a hand.
Okay, what about this river bet that is coming up from Michael Mizrachi?
It is more than the bet. Watch this reaction mid-hand. Right here. This is a bet stack moment.
Hallaert is deciding.
Right? While he's deciding, this is a clear fold in my mind if you're Kenny, but it's hard. You know, put yourself in his position. It's it's very difficult.
An even bigger celebration after the hand was concluded. All right, let's bring in somebody who's not only on the Grinder rail, but most certainly is his biggest believer, and that would be the one, the only, Jared Blesnick. Bless, come on down. What do you make of this run that Grinder has been on?
The Grinder, he's won the 50K PPC for the 4th time. He's at the final table with more than 75% of the chips in play right now. If he can win the main event today, this will go down we all know it's the greatest accomplishment in the history of poker. This will go down as the greatest accomplishment in the history of gambling.
Wow. Nick, we take a look at Michael Mizrachi's years in 2010 and 2025, and both just sensational.
Well, it's remarkable that 15 years ago, he almost did this. He had won the PPC, that was his first, and then he was at the final table. Didn't have, obviously, this type of chip lead. Jared, I talked to you a bit yesterday. You seem almost more emotional than Mike does. Like, you seem, and is that more out of friendship or out of love of poker and what this would mean?
I see it from the place that the grinder has given everything to the game of poker for 2 decades. He won his first major title back in '05. For the grinder to do this is a rare moment where everyone in the world, as a poker player, wants the grinder to win this tournament, and he is more deserved of it than anyone. And he's probably got the highest ROI of anyone in this event.
I want to get to predictions. We know what yours will be quickly. One sentence each. Brent Hanks, start with you.
I got to go with the underdog. I'm going with the other gambler, Oklahoma, Texas. That's Braxton Dunaway. If he can get on some chips early, I believe he's the only one that could be a problem for the grinder.
Nick.
I think it is going to come down to heads up between the two big chip stacks, Grinder and Waz. And I think there'll be a moment where we will hear Nick and Ali say, if Waz wins this pot, he draws even or close to even with Grinder, but I don't think he will, and I think Grinder will ultimately win.
Well, then we actually do have 3 different predictions, because I have Kenny Hallaert working his way into heads up, the most studied player left. When you combine that with the way he's been able to adapt to different players, I have Hallaert going heads up with Mizrachi. All right, let's get to it. Today, we hand out the ultimate prize in poker, the World Series of Poker Main Event bracelet. It's Ali Nejad and the Poker Hall of Famer Nick Schulman with your coverage of the main event final table.
Want to play online poker for free? With PokerGO, you get the thrill of authentic poker anytime, anywhere. From quick casual games to action-packed tournaments, PokerGO lets you compete against real for free. No bots, no gimmicks, just pure poker fun. Hone your skills and enjoy the poker experience you love. Explore PokerGO on web, iOS, and Android. Deal yourself in now.
He's ruthless. He's relentless.
Let's go, baby.
And there's no sign he'll stop until he gets what he wants. Michael Mizrachi is on the run and rush of a lifetime. And tonight, he looks to close out the World Series of Poker main event final table, capping off an impossible to fathom double-double with the Poker Players Championship.
Congratulations.
Some have stood in his way. Others still stand in his way. But if momentum is the guide, the grinder will be a world champion at the end of the night.
He is a grinder.
And claim with it $10 million.
That's firing.
9 long days ago, we embarked upon this journey, not a sprint, but an endurance race that is coming around the back stretch. Ali Nejad and Nick Schulman here in the booth, ready to coronate one of our final 4 players. Jeff Platt, Natalie Bodie, working the sidelines as you get a look at that $500,000 worth of gold bracelet. That's gonna come with the $10 million up top. And Michael Mizrachi certainly rates to be the man to lay claim to all of it when you look at it by the numbers. The lion's share of the chips, but John Wasnock is gonna have something to say. Second biggest stack in the field, $94.5 million, 37 bigs. Israel is here to will him on in the effort to dethrone the grinder's chip lead. Braxton Dunaway has looked steely. 42 years of age, you see him, determination awash on that base as he entered the arena earlier here today. Laser focused and looking relaxed and like a man who, well, quite frankly, has been down here before. That's because he has. former 6th place finisher at the World Series of Poker main event, Kenny Hallaert, 19 million. Sub 10 big blind stack, obviously work to be done. And there are the payouts brought to you by GTO Wizard. $3 million on tap, a $1 million ladder if you can make the podium, and of course $7 million away from the 10 milli up top. Let's send it down to Jack Effel to kick things off.
Hello everyone, and welcome to the final day of the 2025 World Series of Poker main event. It's been the most exciting final table ever, and today we're going to crown a world champion. And so there are 4 players remaining. We are starting in level number 41. The blinds are 1 million, 2.5 million, with a 2.5 million big blind ante. Dunaway has the button in seat number 2. I'd like to wish these players the best of luck, and I'd like to ask all of you, what time is it? It's time to shuffle up and deal.
Thanks, Jack. And the excitement obviously fills the air here in Vegas. 60 hands under our belt here at this final table. We have really flown from 9 down to 4, Nick, and the flight could continue here given the 2 shorties.
Well, the grinder last night.
Was that a bottle of tequila?
I think it was a bottle of tequila. In response to Platt, who said, what's it going to take to win tomorrow? He gave one of the most iconic answers ever. About an hour. So let's see. Ace queen off for Kenny. All in forthcoming.
The only place to go is forward with the full 19 million. The modest clip unloaded. Queen tray in the bin, king 7 as well. Wasnock takes a peek.
Sorry.
Before mucking it, king jack of diamonds for the grinder, Nick.
Good luck, gentlemen.
This is hand number 1, and we've already got an all-in and a call.
Diamonds, ace queen. King jack of diamonds.
As vrouw. Koning boer uit. Gaat als vrouw.
Has ace king. We need a king or a jack.
I don't think it comes as a surprise, just given the presence of the grinder and sort of the speediness with which we got down here, that we're picking up where we left off. Grinder behind roughly 3-2. And that's where he stays on a 10-5-4 all spade board.
I'm good at this part. It's probably gonna come a queen.
Hallert's advantage ascends, needs to hold. Oh, and a jack! Now it will take an ace, a king, or a queen for Hallaert to keep on trucking here at this FT. Otherwise, he's out in hand 1, and that'll do it.
Legendary run, Kenny. One of the greatest main event resumes ever, Ali. And that will do it.
$3 million.
Kenny.
4th place finish.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah.
You gotta imagine he expected to have a little bit more run than that, Nick.
Well, came in with 8 bigs. Can't be too surprised, and we see the elation on the grinder rail.
You talked about his main event resume. Norman Chad tweeted with respect to his large field performances in his last 16 WSOPs. He's live cashed 83 times in fields of 1,000 and up, 33 times in fields of 5,000 and up, and 12 times in fields of over 10,000 players, 6 of those coming in the main, including 2 final tables. A tremendous performance by Kenny Hallaert, but one that is cut short by the King Jack of the grinder, and Dunaway, 10-6 of hearts in the big Nick.
Ace 10 is ahead of 10-6.
You know, I don't love that call, Ali, with the 10-6.
Just need to avoid a 6.
Blind versus blind. Of course, he anticipates Mizrachi is going to attack with a wide array, but 10-6 of hearts strikes me as underperforming against 2 randoms.
I get it. He's clear short. He wants to gamble. Let's run him.
$2 million pay ladder between 3rd and 2nd. He's already locked up an extra $1 million after Hallaert's departure. But he ain't doing well here. King, queen, 4 with a couple of diamonds. Mizrachi has this one by the throat.
Ace is a bad card, actually.
48.5 million chip pot. Just a black 6. Will do it for Dunaway. Not home on the turn.
Only a 6. Only a 6.
It's the rail discussing the outs.
There's no 6. Now it's coming, it's coming.
The grinder in the embrace of the friends and family on the
Ali.
rail. A diamond for good measure. And a table for 4 just became a table for 2.
Braxton, what a run, my man. $4 million for 3rd. The rail lets him hear it.
This is crazy.
Back in Moore, Oklahoma, those that didn't make the trip are no doubt going nuts, as are those in Midland, Texas, where B-Dun calls home. Well, a $4 million cherry on top of the $1.5 million Sunday in terms of career tournament earnings coming into this one for Braxton Dunaway. Jordan, Macy, Hayes, and Sawyer, his kids, no doubt proud of Papa. Let's send it down to Jeff Platt.
When you draw up this day, could you draw it up like that, or is it just not believable
I said
anymore?
60 seconds, not 60 seconds.
You did say it would take an hour.
60 minutes, not 60 seconds. But yeah, like, I don't know. It's crazy. I mean, this is running good. But that was a little question. He called with 10-6, but I don't know. I got a good spot, I guess. Yeah.
You have more than a 5-1 chip lead approaching heads-up play.
Okay.
What's it going to take to get this done? And don't give me an amount of time. What will it take to win?
We see a lot of flops, apply a lot of pressure, and just try to keep it small and just small ball for now.
Do you allow yourself to enjoy the moment, to soak it all in, that you are indeed heads up for the main event World Championship?
Well, let's win it first, and then then that's what's second. If you're aiming first, you're last. So we're going for first. That's it.
I love it. He's going for first. He's Michael Mizrachi. Waz is fighting for first as well, and he's with Natalie Bodie.
All right, John, I mean, how do you describe just the first couple hands of this final table?
Well, given the stack sizes, I kind of expected something like that might happen. I figured the cards were going to dictate how that was going to go down, and Mike was going to jam with whatever he had those first couple hands, and he woke up with some cards. So I have to say that's the fastest $3 million I've ever made.
Certainly, and Mizrachi let us know last night he looked at a few hands. What did you do to prepare for this stage?
I went through and watched the stream, but to prepare, I just tried to put myself in different situations on what I would do given the stack sizes. There could have been some hairy situations there given the ICM implications, but it just played out the way it did given the cards.
Best of luck to you. We'll be heads up in just a few minutes.
Thanks, Jeff. Thanks, Natalie. As we give you a look at the tail of the tape here, it'll be heads up between the grinder and Wasnock. Let's send it over to the break desk. We'll be back in about 5.
The NAPT is back this November, my babies.
This is going to be such an amazing event back in fabulous Las Vegas. I had such an amazing time at the NAPT last year. It was one of my favorite events.
Stay up to date through the PokerStars channels.
Come play with us this November.
I'll see you in Las Vegas.
Be there.
2 quick KOs to kick things off at the World Series of Poker Main Event final table as we welcome you back inside the Horseshoe Events Center. Jeff Platt alongside Nick Wright and Brent Hanks. We had to run back up here very quickly, I must say.
This is unbelievable, Jeff. Started day 8, 24 people left. Minutes into day 8, Mike Mizrachi has 3 big blinds. And since then, I don't think it's lost a pot that mattered.
As we take a look at the leaderboard, it is presented by PokerStars, and it still does show Michael Mizrachi with 491 million in chips. Brent, a lot of work to do if you're Waz, but before we get to heads up, take us back, rewind a little bit to those, just 2 hands.
Liz, I thought it would be somewhat quick, but 2 hands? Also, Dunaway, opportunity. He wanted to gamble to get back into this thing. I don't calling it off with the 10-6 of hearts. Maybe thinks we have live cards to be shown ace-10. I mean, it's about as bad as it gets.
You've always said he's the gambler.
It was stunning. The first hand, when the short set gets ace-queen and Mike has king-jack, that kind of plays itself.
Sure.
The second hand didn't have to go that way, but it kind of course it went that way. And for this final table, Jeff, for him to, we have seen people run over final tables. They come in with huge chip leads and can lean on everyone. Mike, 30 minutes into the final table, had lost a third of his stack, was dead, was average in chips for the 9 people left, and since then has a combination of kismet, a little sun run, aggression at the right times, won every single pot. It's been remarkable to watch.
Okay, so we have the World Series of Poker Main Event Championship on the line. We have $10 million for first on the line. Nick, how do we start to frame the poker GOAT discussion if Mizrachi does indeed win this one?
I don't think anyone is going to make the argument after this that Mike is now the greatest poker player ever. I think everyone has to acknowledge it is no longer an argument that this is the greatest single-year accomplishment ever. And it is when you say who has the greatest World Series of Poker resume, with respect to our friend Phil Hellmuth, with respect to a lot of our, the late great Doyle Brunson, Stu Unger, peeling the PPC 4 times, and the first time you do it, finishing 5th in the main, and then coming back after people think you're maybe in a different part of your career, peeling it again, and then running over the main if he finishes it off, you can make the argument he's the greatest big tournament World Series performer in the history of the game.
So, Brent, now let's look to heads up. It's a lot of work to do for Waz, but how many heads ups have we called where the chip leader just loses it and boom, we have a brand new ball game?
Heads up is oftentimes just pure chaos, but what I think has struck me the most about Waz, he hasn't reacted emotionally to anything. He just remains completely poised, dialed in. The moment is not too big for Waz. He's not intimidated either. He's just not. I can see it.
What do you expect?
Well, listen, it's 490 to 90, which sounds insurmountable, but that also means we're 1 pot away from it being basically 2 to 1. And so you're 2 pots away from it being 2 to 1 in Waz's favor. Like, I think for most great accomplished pros, their approach in this spot would be keep it small, grind him down, let it go on as long as you want, and slowly whittle away. Does anybody think Mike Mizrachi is going to do that? Or do you think he has spent the time between eliminating Dunaway and right now saying, what if I did this in 3 hands? What if that's the end of this story? So, I think we're all picking Mike, and I think it could be over immediately. I also think we could immediately get a real poker tournament on our hands.
I cannot wait. Here we go. Heads up for the World Series of Poker Main Event Championship and $10 million. The Grinder versus Waz. Ali and Nick, take it away.
Well, thanks, boys. You see all the beautiful cash has now been spilled over onto the belt as if either of these guys needed a reminder that they are effectively playing a $4 million sit and go, and one heck of a handicap advantage Mizrachi in a real way.
Yeah, you know, we're all favoring the Grinder, and it seems written, but a lot can happen heads up.
This is an iteration of poker that stands on its own, Nick, in terms of the specific study required in order to approach it optimally. Not three-handed, four-handed, anything else is like it. It can be a game of momentum. As we see the first flop, ace, jack, 7. King high, still best. Pate going to the Grinder. You know, Nick, I had a couple of folks chatting with me before this one got underway. And even four-handed, as we see the largest ever deficit overcome in the last 2 decades was last year's champ, Jonathan Tamayo. I confess, I was nervous and anxious in a way that I normally wouldn't be. And it had everything to do with what gear Grinder was going to come out of the gates with, because it can go wrong if you get out in front of your skis.
Yeah, I know what you mean, Ali. And this could be a little window into a good sign for the Grinder, despite having the snowman.
Taking a walk there. He was ready to go, no doubt. And that rail is ready to go as well. Don't be surprised if they spill over right down into the feature and maybe make off with a bundle or two in the process. Unclear. Is that actual cash?
Yeah, I hope nobody on the Grinder's rail, you know, lets those old instincts kick in.
9-6 offsuit for the Grinder, who actually, instincts is a very apropos way to describe what he draws upon when he's out there.
Yeah, it's been really interesting hearing rumblings from some still not giving him his credit, still out there with these wild takes that he's not playing well or this and that. You know, this guy's one of the best ever. And in hindsight, some of the moves he made that I didn't love, just open shoving jacks, the huge sort of all-in with queens, those two I wasn't crazy about as we see the Grinder picking up outs, Waz with the 7. In hindsight, I started thinking, does he think he's stealing so many pots from these guys that he just didn't want the variance of a normal 3-bet? His top 2 comes in for Waz, flush for the Grinder.
Yeah, obviously, John not particularly thrilled about the jack sub, and
it's all going Mike's way, Holly.
With the double gutter, as the straight draws turn into a flush draw. Or a flush, rather. In the event of interruptions to your PokerGO stream, please visit the PokerGO YouTube channel for continued coverage. And please visit GTO Wizard if you're looking to make optimal decisions in high-pressure spots. They've got you covered. Study any situation with their AI, making it the ultimate tool to prepare yourself for those critical moments at the table. Check it out now at gtowizard.com/PokerGo. Get started for free and save 10% off your first purchase. Limp pot. 6-6 tray and a couple of diamonds. Trips for Wasnock and Mizrachi with interactions.
Oh, and he just checks it right back.
Now the diamond on the turn. Neither player with the flush draw. Note that that 5 turns into a gutter for Mizrachi, who speaks up for 2.5.
Raise. 9.
In comes the raise.
Got it, Johnny.
Always. Against you, always I have it.
Note he slides his chair over. Get a closer look.
Got a glimpse there of Grinder's view of Wasnock.
Excited?
It's like any other tournament, right?
Huh?
Just like any other tournament.
Good response.
Those are important ones when you're trying to work your way back
Waz
up.
rail is here, Ali.
That they are. Just 143,000 in live tournament earnings as you look at his bio. Brought to you by PokerGO. And yet, steely as they come, he turned to Grinder and simply said, just like any other tournament, Nick. Waz's wife, Brandy, close friends Jorge and Chad on his rail, among others.
By the way, we got this dude on the rail too, top left, strong, massaging his goatee.
You know, I did see a pirate ship at Valet, and I was kind of wondering whose that was.
Great flop for Waz.
Top pair in the wheel draw against just Jack High. Club rolling off for added comfort.
A really nice start to this one for the Grinder.
Back-to-back pickups for Waz. His 6 brothers, Steve, Jim, Tom, David, Mike, and Jeff, all keenly training their eyes on this one. Household, quote, full of testosterone. Waz knows how to jockey as he tries to tackle the Grinder. Ace, Queen. Upstairs.
You got any small ball in your game?
Huh?
Any small ball in your game? You're just gonna...
Trip queens. The deck runs rich for Waz. Just king high and backdoor hearts, checking over.
And by the way, it's getting a little bit adversarial out there. Nothing crazy, but even Waz asking him if he has any small ball in his game. You know, Grinder kind of laughed, but it's sort of, you know, this is a $4 million heads-up match and legacy on the line.
6 of spades rolling off as Mizrachi check called that 5 million chip follow-through barrel. Now drawing dead and facing barrel number 2. This time 10 million. Note that tequila bottle is at the ready on the rail. Unclear if it's with the intent to ingest or to bathe the grinder in the elixir.
And maybe a little bit of both.
Was nearing 100 million now. Ace on the button here. Michael taking it up, going to 6 million as opposed to the 5 million minimum.
You know, sometimes in these spots, you feel the guy in Waz's seat is kind of okay with losing. Of course, we know he's a huge dog, but it does feel like in his own way, Waz is here to win.
Last 10 years of main event, the chip leader has gone on to win it 70% of the time in the grinder. Not looking to be the exception, as we're not looking to turn you anywhere other than Play Poker Go, where the action never stops. Chase your share of $1 million in gold every single hour. Jump into free online poker with real players and zero risk. The gold free roll runs every hour on the half hour. No buy-in, no catch, just your shot at gold. Play now at playpokergo.com. Although I say play now loosely, play later. Play after this one's done. Don't turn your eyes away from this moment here. Ace trade, Wasnock, turning it up to 5 million. Grinder, suited 10-4, defending. Swing and a miss on the ace-7-5 board for Grinder. He knuckles.
This is the thing about heads up. The cards can run a little funny sometimes, and if they do over 20, 30 hands, all of a sudden we can see some major shifts. Once again, Waz elects to check back a really good hand on the flop.
And look what the developments are as a result. The Grinder picking up an open-ender. And
I think Waz's kind of plan is to trap the Grinder a lot and use his aggression against him.
well, as we've observed on so many occasions, the trapper can become the trappee in a hurry, but Waz now raising it up and taking the fight to the grinder in ways few have.
It's only a few small ones, but this really is the first adversity we've seen Mike faced with in quite a while. Take it, Waz.
Yeah, letting go of the open-ender, and another pot flowing toward Waz. And I think even if they're not the biggest pots, just simply the act of hanging L's on the grinder and hanging W's upon yourself, an important one when it comes to heads up.
And you know, a lot of people say this in sports, but sometimes the toughest matches to win are the ones everybody expects you to win.
That's right. And without question, in that regard, Nick, the pressure is squarely on those durable shoulders of the grinder. King 10 of spades here, notching the king 9. Waz defending understandably.
You got 5 gray, right? 4.
Yeah.
Okay.
Jack 5-4. Not particularly interesting. The king of hearts worthy of note.
6 million.
Follow through of 6 million. And Waz just going to step aside. Looking to keep it clean there. And we're going to step over to Natalie Bodie, who caught up with Kenny Hallaert after his 4th place finish.
Well, Kenny, what's going through your mind as you step away from the table?
A bit of lots of emotions leaving my body probably right now. There's the relief, let's say, that it's over in a way. There's a bit of disappointment for, let's say, losing that last hand, which is a standard hand in poker. There's happiness for being 4th in the World Series of Poker main event. There's gratefulness for having the privilege for being able to play this tournament already for the 17th time. So yeah, lots of emotions, but yeah, I think happy that I'm here, happy that I can play this game for a living, and yeah, I'll be back next year, try to do better. Won't be easy, but I'll give it a shot at least.
Most people will never make a World Series of Poker main event final table, let alone do that more than once. What did it mean to you to get back to this stage?
It was a bit of a surreal feeling because, indeed, as you said, when I made it the first time, it almost felt impossible. But there's 9 butts to be filled in the seats at this final table. So sometimes your number gets drawn from the lottery. And yeah, I was lucky enough to be one of those. And now it happened again. It feels, surreal, amazing. It's. Look, I'm definitely not one of the best 9 poker players in the world. I will never be. But I have heart and commitment, have patience, have perseverance, and with cards a little bit on my side, I know a lot is possible for me as a player, and that's again what happened this tournament.
Thank you so much for the time.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Natalie, and thanks to Kenny for taking a moment. You know, it's easier said than done, wrangling a man or woman in perhaps one of the most acutely disappointing and yet joyous moments, all strangely wrapped into one for their thoughts. But
those were nice words from Kenny.
Those are nice final 2 payouts, aren't they, GTO Wizard? Bringing you the glimpse at the last 2 slots. 6 million on lockup as the $4 million sit and go rolls on.
You think they made a deal, Ali? Just kidding.
Well, as long as we're on the topic of it, let's just say, hypothetically, Nick, Waz were to double and win a few, somehow draw level. You think that would be enough to get the grinder to talk deal?
Grinder ain't talking.
But his chips are. And he's got the most powerful voice as it stands. Trying to get up and over $500 million in chips. Not too many tournaments in which you can say that. 83% of the biscuits. 2 eliminations in 2 hands in short order. Hallaert with the ace-queen, perhaps a little bit less easy to comprehend the 10-6 of hearts for Braxton Dunaway, where he called it off against Grinder. But here we are, and Waz with the ace-queen, wagging his finger at the button limp. Take it. By the way, not sure if you caught a glimpse or not there on the rail. Unclear if there's a rooting interest or not, but the Hall of Famer Eli Elezra, along with wife Ela, out there soaking it up. To the left, believe?
I would imagine they're supporting the grinder.
What's that? This ball?
raise 5?
No, you know, actually was. He's a great friend of ours.
$5 million ahead, courtesy of some offsuit kit in both camps. Queen Jack 9, a couple of hearts here. Bottom pair for the grinder, slips it to Waz. The dust ball checks back, doesn't improve on the turn. Nine's up on the end for Mizrachi, and value pursuits suddenly becoming available, 75%.
Nice restraint shown from Waz there.
You know, you often use the term will not go quietly, but I also feel as though Waz ain't looking to make a whole lot of noise out here either. Just procedurally, he clearly came in with a sense of how he wanted to conduct himself here, and he hasn't let the grinder discombobulate that
Slept
one
like
bit.
a baby last night.
Yeah, I agree with you, Ali, and it looks like he might have made some adjustments too. He folded a Jack 7 off.
Grinder was out having shots of tequila. I was having shots of NyQuil.
I wish I was.
Is he talking smack or is
Tonight,
he joking
baby.
around? I kind of can't tell.
Could be merging.
Yeah. But I was going to say, he folded a Jack 7 off on the button, which is just wrong. But then he limped 10-4 off, which is right. So maybe he, you know,
A little bob and weave.
Maybe a little bob and weave. Sometimes you can bob too much, and this is not a good flop for Waz. Chop possibilities, but this is really troublesome.
Top pair for both parties.
Oh, grinder sneaks along on the flop.
Picks up a gut shot on the turn. And of course, with the check back in front of us, we're quite proud of top pair. Hard to make any pair, let alone top pair. So the 7 million is drawn forward. Grinder content to flat. Pot grows to 28.5 million. 7 on the end, and suddenly the kicker becomes a straight. Waz with the break check.
For Waz, in terms of bluff catching, suppose it's good not to have a heart. Do just fall to a lot of stuff.
Straight.
Oh, Waz snaps, Ali. That was a big bet on the end, no?
35 million.
Oh, my.
Not so much as a chew from Waz, a reflexive call, which now...
Waz might have been all NyQuil last night, but...
He's going to be feeling a little bit drowsy on the back end of that one. I mean, Grinder is absolutely reveling in this, in his element, 1,000%. And perhaps just moments away from bracelet number 8, number 2 of the summer. Well, let's give you the summary here, brought to you by Oats Overnight. Winning is easier with 20 grams of protein. Please shake responsibly, and the grinder has been responsible for the bulk of the carnage at the final table of this main event.
Thank you.
7-4 suited is... You witness just how quickly, Nick, all of the effort, all of the grinding can just be vanquished in the blink of an eye, like it was in that last pot, and leave you deflated. Both literally and proverbially. Check back here from the Jack 8 as we play a limped one. 10-7 deuce and a couple of spades. Grinder with the gutter. Waz with second pair. Position barrel. 5 million. Grinder flicks the nickel out there on the hunt for the 9.
2 pair for Waz.
Turn offering some more clarity with respect to another barrel.
13.
13.
I wouldn't call it Campbell's, but this is chunky.
Yeah. And for the grinder with just the gut shot. It's a little bit interesting in theory ahead of all the inferior straight draws. He's gone. Big pickup for Waz. They all are when you have a 10-1 deficit.
All right, good luck, guys.
Thank you.
Well, the eyes of Sin City in terms of the poker community obviously are all trained here, but come November, they'll turn to Resorts World, who's playing host to the NAPT for the 3rd year in a row. The 3rd through the 12th, mark your calendar and come on down. 50K Super High Roller and a 5K main, plus a 1K PokerStars Open are all on offer, not to mention a 1K Women's High Roller. Players in Pennsylvania, Jersey, Michigan, and Ontario have the chance to win their way in. See the PokerStars app for more details. King 4 dominated, unbeknownst, limping on the button here was with the K9 unit. Shoots it up to 7.5 total. Grinder nonchalantly making the call here, pot 17.5 as we see 3. Queen 9-6 was second pair. King of Spades works. Two checks and now 2 clubs on the turn. Both parties picking up the gutter. Again, Wasnock checks, Nick. No bite from Grinder. Third club sliding in, and now the Grinder posing a question.
Finally, Waz's trapping might come to fruition.
Some stuff out there, of course.
There is, but with the King of Clubs 9, check down all the way to the river. We cannot fold. Grinder rallies his rail mid-bluff.
And it looks like Waz is going to put the mute button on him here as he finds the call. There it is, the silencer.
I don't think I've ever seen somebody rally the rail mid-bluff.
I haven't either. That was quite something. Almost leveraging them to 12th man effect. Oh my goodness.
Oh dear.
That was a sort of enthusiasm generally a man with an eye patch, a sword, and a plank brings forth.
Yeah. Well, that other guy was there earlier.
They should get together. Ace and the 9 plus the button getting together for a min raise. Mizrachi defends the suited combo and finds a flush draw, while Waz finds top 2, Nick.
And again, Waz checks back, and the flush does come in for the Grinder.
12.5 in.
By the way, great assessment from the Grinder to check it over once more. 10 mil from Waz. And he's doing it again, Ali.
And note last time he did it, he got caught bluffing.
And he's announced him raised, thumbs to the sky.
30 million.
And he makes it 30.
All in. Call.
Was jams, Grinder snaps.
Come on, flush, no club. I have a flush. No club.
Two versus the flush.
No club. No, it's over. We're in. It's already over, right? It's over. We won. Let's go.
Wait a minute.
It's not over, Grinder.
Mikey, wait a minute. He's got board pairs. Are we reading the board wrong? Hang on a minute.
It's over? Oh, 8 or 9. Shit, I didn't know that. Shit. I didn't see 2 pairs.
Everybody relax.
This would be a catastrophic swing.
Ace-9.
If the board were to pair the ace or the 9 here and give Wasnock the double.
Mikey, baby.
No ace or 9. No ace or 9.
That's all it would take. And it's over. A seemingly shell-shocked John Wasnock can do nothing but look on as he takes down $6 million. A merciless collision there. But in seemingly preordained fashion, Nick, a life's work validated, a final table eviscerated, and a summer conquered for Michael the Grinder Mizrachi.
Yeah, I've got tears in my eyes, Ali. A life's work validated is really well put. This is the most legendary accomplishment in the history of poker. And man, there it is. The Grinder did it.
I didn't see his hand. You're in the middle, baby. I'm blinded by his hand.
$10 million. A second bracelet this summer, an 8th over the course of his career, which already amassed $19 million in earnings. Let's send it down now to Natalie Bodie, standing
John,
by.
you described yourself as an amateur. Most amateurs will never make a run like this. What's going through your mind?
Well, it'll take a while to sink in. Obviously, in this moment, it's still disappointing. I really wanted to get that, to finish that off, but it's been an amazing ride.
How did you keep your composure on the biggest stage in poker?
It's just poker. I mean, there might be a few more zeros on the end, but the cards are what the cards are, and I don't have any regrets with the way I played all week. You know, I have my own strategy, and I stuck with it, and I'm happy to be where I'm at right now. It's obviously a little bittersweet in this moment, but this is a life changer.
How will this change your life outside of poker?
I haven't even got to that point yet. I need to take some time to let this kind of sink in, but it's amazing.
Great run at it, John. Thank you. Going to send it now to Jeff.
All right, thank you so much, Natalie, here with the champ. That was about an hour. You said that's what it would take. You told me an hour. From 3 big blinds to this, what did it take to come back and win the main event?
Oh, I can't explain it. I just experienced, I had a lot of fate, and I just felt like my favorite hand's 44. Yeah. I'm 44 years old. It's all meant to be. I won the Players' Championship for the 4th time. Now this.
How would you sum up what this World Series of Poker main event bracelet means to you?
I mean, I feel like I accomplished a lot. I feel like this cements everything in my life, and the best day of my life.
You hear the Hall of Fame chants. We love it. It is time to turn it over to World Series of Poker Senior Vice President Jack Effel. Jack, take it away.
Mike, congratulations, my friend, on becoming this year's main event champion.
Thank you very much.
We have a special guest here today. He is the Vice President of Pro Sports Sales from Jostens. He's here to present you with this year's main event bracelet, my friend.
It's a true honor for Jostens to present you with this bracelet. This is the pinnacle of World Series poker. And you have earned it. It is filled with 2,256 diamonds, over 42 carats, 367 grams of gold, worth more than $150,000. It's a great pleasure that Jostens made this for you.
Thank you very much for making it for me.
You're welcome.
How about you hold up that bracelet right to that camera? The champ is here, and it's Michael the Grinder Mizrachi hoisting that bracelet that goes along with $10 million. Grinder, that's not all. Jack Effel, we have one more special presentation for this man.
Oh, that's right, Jeff. We have one more thing to do. Okay, well, I guess we need to bring up a few people to help us, right?
Go, okay.
So let's bring up those guys.
I see some superstars.
I think we got a couple
here.
of guys that want to come up here and join us.
Okay, sounds good.
See if we can get these guys up here.
I recognize them. Opie's here. Elliot Lezra, Phil Ivey, Brian Rast, John Hennigan, Johnny World is here, Jen Harmon is here.
Come on, Maury. Come on, Phil.
Maury Escantani, Phil Helmuth.
First time ever. Here you go, buddy. Good job.
Thank you, brother.
You deserve it. First time ever. You're officially in the fucking Hall of Fame.
Thank you. Thank you, brother.
The Poker Hall of Famer, Michael Mizrachi.
Grinder, I'm supposed to tell you something. Are you ready?
Come on, man. Love you, man.
That's what it's all about right there, guys. There's your main event champion, and there's your Hall of Famer.
Thank you. Oh, my God. Thank you, guys. I appreciate it so much.
What I'm supposed to say is, what you've done is phenomenal. This is a fucking battlefield promotion. Winning the main, winning the Players' Championship, and now the Hall of Fame.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. I appreciate it.
There it is for your newest member of the Poker Hall of Fame and your 2025 World Series of Poker main event champion, Michael Mizrachi.
Well, that isn't the way induction normally goes down, and yet I suspect not a soul out there in the hall or outside of it would argue, Nick.
Yeah, this one's really hit me hard, Ali. I kind of need I need the Kleenex for this one, brother. Unbelievable.
It's been a privilege and a pleasure to be a part of this particular World Series of Poker main event final table. Our first here in the booth, but hopefully not the last, and it only gets better. On behalf of our entire crew here in Las Vegas and my partner in the booth, Nick Schulman, this is Ali Nejad saying so long from Vegas.